YouTubers. I decided to make a video, unscripted, it's not some random video. It's a video about being a targeted individual in a massive covert harassment, organised gang stalking campaign. This is something I've been experiencing for the last 10 years of my life. It's a very unpleasant experience. I don't think there's a human being on this planet that can brush it off as it being nothing, you know. You'd have to have really thick crocodile skin to not allow the games and mind manipulations and everything else that comes along with it. You know, the electronic harassment. You know, we're coming into a new era of technology that we haven't seen before. Indirect assaults, you know, harassment via proxy from a distance. Brave New World, Aldous Huxley. Read that book, people, and you may not view me as some sort of lunatic once you finish reading that book or parts of it. I'm not just the only person that's experiencing it. I'm not that special. I'm not anyone special. I mean, from what I know of, in Australia alone, there's 6,000 of us target individuals for many different reasons, and each campaign is specifically tailored for that individual that they're targeting. I mean, they'll use same tactics, it's from the same rule book. You can see it unfolding before your eyes, you know. It's like they're following some chart, or it's not random. Do you know what I mean? It's got sequences to it. It's got... After a while, you start to notice patterns. You start to notice what they hit of yours, like what they harass you with, what they vandalize your property. It's not just random things that they vandalize. It's specific things. Yeah, specific to that targeted individual. It's not something that I can say, yep, they've done it to me, so they're going to do that specific thing to that another targeted individual. It doesn't work that way. I mean, I'm still learning fast, but there's a lot more to learn in relation to what they're doing, and I'm also holding back a lot in relation to what they have done. And other targeted individuals worldwide would know what I'm talking about. I mean, the severity and extensity, it reaches all aspects of your life. I mean, it's like they put a blanket over your reality, what's real, and they reveal to you what they only want you to see, and they block you off from interacting with other people, with your family. In other words, they isolate you. And isolation is futile to their campaign. If you're not isolated, it's not as effective. As human beings, we're social creatures, and this gang stalking and covert harassment and everything else that falls in between is just based upon years and years of study. You know, going back all the way to the Russian scientists and German scientists and stuff. People that participated in MK Ultra, the COINTELPRO in the United States, you know, from the CIA. And there's been a lot of copycats worldwide after this technology has come out to governments. Been a lot of copycats, a lot of people trying to replicate that experiment or that process, adding their own and all this sort of thing. It's a very in-depth psychological process. It's something that even a psychologist with many years under his belt or her belt will still not comprehend the attacks on the human mind that they do in this campaign. I mean, it's so intense and so toxic to the individual that's receiving this punishment or whatever it is that they're calling it. It's so, so bad. I mean, you can't, words cannot explain exactly the emotions and pitfalls and risings and falls of your emotions, or how they play with it is remarkable. And if they could only influence the light that you see in life every day and the sound, you'd be finished. There's nothing in the world stopping you from going insane from that point. If they block the sound and light and disorientate the human mind that much, with alongside this harassment and attacks and assault on top of everyday life, like just the normal things that a human being goes through on an everyday scale and everyday routine, it's very intense. You can't turn to the police because I have reason to believe that they participate in some of the harassment. So they're not going to help you investigate what's happening to you. There's no way in the world that they're going to investigate. So you can just give up there. Your friends, your family, anyone you come into contact with is going to be hacked. Their mind's going to be hacked by these people that are doing this to the individual, which is myself. And they just twist and turn, and with the individual struggling with not knowing what's going on, but the individual has some realization that something's happening. So they go into a state of defense. And a state of defense, you start stabbing in the dark. When you start stabbing in the dark, you cause a big mess, because you could be stabbing people that are completely innocent and you don't know it, because you're hitting theoretically speaking, it's mind-boggling. It literally is mind-boggling. But yeah, they're very cruel people with no heart towards humanity, other than what they see fit. They for some reason, I don't understand exactly the whole picture. I don't see the whole picture of why they do this to people. But I get some understanding that they pick off people that are undesirables from society, that they can't pin through legal means. They do outside the eyesight of the law. They do it under the table sort of thing. But this program or this technology that they're using for this harassment is very dangerous, because who's to say that it's not to be turned on an innocent person? Because it's such a productive weapon, there is no protection from it. There is no defense. You can't attack back. I mean, you're just sitting there like a fish in barrel getting shot at, and there's nothing in the world you can do about it. You go left, you get fucked. You go right, you get fucked. You can't. There's not one thing you can do about it. You can talk, you can scream, you can lie, you can shout, you can kick and scream. There's nothing in the world's going to be done about it. I mean, the more and more sound you make, the more and more noise you make, the more of a chance you are at risk of being institutionalized, or furthermore, being pushed to the point where you become so aggressive that you lash out at someone and you end up going to prison and serving a jail sentence, which most TIs end up facing. I mean, they end up killing themselves and going to prison, and they get killed in jail, or they just go to some facility for psychiatric patients. It's not a positive ending for any targeted individual, especially when their family aren't supportive of them, especially if their family have cooperated with the perpetrators on some level. I mean, people, you can call me paranoid, you can say whatever you like, but in the last 10 months, the things that I've gone through, the things that I've seen and experienced, I should be way more paranoid. And paranoia is something that it's natural of human beings. It's a survival instinct. When they sense that something's up, something's not right, they become paranoid. And that keeps you alive. It's like fear. It keeps you alive. I mean, they've poisoned my dog on many occasions, my pet dog. She's a very healthy dog. She's only 3 years old, not even. She's fed twice a day. She's walked almost twice a day. She's played around with. She's bathed constantly. So there's no reason for her to get lice, and there's no birds around here, or there's no chickens or anything. There's no reason for her to have lice, or there's no reason for her to come up with lesions on her body, or in her softer skin regions like under her stomach or under her armpits. There's no reason for her to come up with lesions and rashes so severe as that, as she starts to go bald and it becomes so red and raw. There's no need for that. So they pick at things that they know you really care about. They strip you away from your humanity, from everything that you identify yourself with. They strip you away from that. And that's a form of conditioning. That's a form of mind control. When they break you, that's what they do in the military. That's what they do in the police force. They actually break the person down to the point where they're just less than a toddler in the mind. Like, they got no self-identity, they got no self-worth, they got nothing. And the person or the people behind doing this give you back slowly bits and pieces of what they see fit to build you back up as. Now, that's very slack, and that's very wrong. Because every human being, every living creature, far out, man, not just human beings, every living creature in this world has the right to free will, has the right to choose. Now, who the hell are they to come around and start playing God and picking and choosing what a person's characteristics are going to be like, or what type of person they want living in society? How's that work? No. I'm not the only person that will be disagreeing with that either. You have an army of people out there disagreeing with all this shit that they're doing to people. I mean, I wouldn't believe it unless it's happened to myself. I will never believe another person if they came and told me the things that I'm saying. It took me such a long time to grasp and identify and actually come to grips and believe what I'm actually experiencing, what I'm being subject to. The human mind is so strong that denial keeps everything at a way that just doesn't make sense in the human mind, or if whatever's happening to that human being doesn't coincide with how their brain's structured and how it's wired, the brain will just deny everything to protect that person. So I went through months and months of denial that, yeah, possibly my family are assisting them, because there's no way in the world that these people would know in-depth detail about who you are, what you like, your tastes, your dislikes. It's just amazing how much they know about you. It's just like they've been studying you for such a long time before they actually hit you with this fucking campaign. It's remarkable. It's scary. I mean, I read about things like this in conspiracy magazines, but nothing to this detriment, nothing to this extent. And, you know, never in Australia. You know, always read about this stuff happening in the States and in England, but you never hear about it happening in Australia because everything's kept all hush-hush. And everyone that doesn't agree with it is too afraid to stand up and say anything because they're scared of being targeted themselves. That's how dangerous this threat is. This threat is so real and dangerous that people are so afraid to speak up against it. People that have influence are so afraid to speak up against it because they don't want to become targeted individuals themselves. It's not something that you wish upon your worst enemy, to be a targeted individual. It's the worst lifestyle you can possibly ever have. And people are saying, oh, you live in Australia, it's such a modern country, you got so much things at your disposal, you got so many opportunities. I mean, it doesn't make a difference if you're living in the Garden of Eden, as long as you're subjected to this gangstalking and covert harassment. Life is hell. It doesn't make a difference where you are. It doesn't make a difference if you earn $600-700 a week and you don't have to spend nothing. It's just all for you. Or $1,000 or $1 million. It makes no difference. Nothing else matters as long as you're a targeted individual. Anyways, I got to cut this video short.